Welcome back to Hobbies and Lobbies, the series where we explore the passion projects that continue to define the most fascinating people. Our guest today has a story that proves professional purpose is always evolving, and that talent, once honed, can pivot to anything. For many years, her voice was a soundtrack to late night's comfort and connection for an entire generation. She is a true Singapore radio legend, the one and only love goddess, Suzanne Walker, the veteran DJ who achieved unprecedented success with love songs on Class 95 FM. But Suzanne's story is defined by a massive, deliberate pivot. She left the world of mass entertainment to move into the intense realm of public service, becoming the Deputy Director of Strategic Communications at the National Youth Council. Now, she has stepped away from that demanding executive career to focus on incredible communication skills on a project that is purely her own. This is where the hobby, and perhaps even lobby, comes in. Her intellectual and deeply personal podcast, Women Talking. It's a platform dedicated to intelligent, nuanced conversation, from dissecting complex literature to openly discussing serious mental health concerns. It's an arena where she controls the conversation entirely. We're going to discuss the amazing leap from being a radio star to becoming a civil servant, and now to acting as an independent media curator. We'll discover how the machinations of a show, Women Talking, provide her with purpose and joy in this exciting new chapter. Please join me in welcoming the incomparable Suzanne Walker to the Chris Hansen Conversation. Can I just ask you to just replicate that one more time? Just for everyone to just reminisce a little bit.
You're listening to the greatest of all human emotions, love songs, on Class 95.
Oh my goodness me. Let me take the cans off a bit. All right. My ears were sweating on the inside. Before we begin the show, here is an important announcement. For 100 years, Shure has set the standard for professional audio. Designed to outlast and outperform, Shure products help you deliver your message with confidence. Trust in Shure. You can be sure with Shure. Shop the Shure Shop Singapore now. Visit the link on screen and use the promo code AFC Henson to get limited Shure merchandise with your purchases. Now, let's start the show.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. As a matter of fact, we've been rolling, so don't worry.
Okay.
Right, Kai?
Yep.
Always be a rolling. Who did we learn that from? Bloody hell, Joe Augustine. Okay.
Have you had Joe on yet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. What a conversation that one was.
I mean, he's called his show The Shit Show, right? I was like, I'll never come on.
The shit show. Yeah, Joe. Oh, there can only be one. One Joe Augustine.
But I haven't been in contact with him, but I know many people actually showed up at the Power 98 final day of broadcasting, I think end of October. There was some farewell. I wasn't there.
They closed it down, right? They went online. Yeah.
I felt very sad actually, but everyone seemed to be celebrating. So I just thought, okay, maybe I'm not in the right mood anyways. I've got the vibe wrong. But why are they celebrating? I mean, it's the end of an era for Power 98.
And I wonder why, because I mean, doesn't MINDEF SAF need to still have their radio station?
I think they actually wanted an FM bandwidth because in times of crises, they feel that radio would be the best communications.
Exactly.
But in this day and age, is it really radio? And by the way, I've worked in some peacekeeping missions, and radio stations can be set up very quickly within like a day or two. So
maybe times have changed. Maybe things are a lot easier to set up an FM bandwidth nowadays, just like that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, to keep that radio station going, I don't know about the cost, but I mean, also in this day and age, maybe digital communications is going to be the future for us.
Then again, I mean, in times of war, we don't know what's going to happen to digital, man. Whether or not it's going to be easily like blown up to bits, you know? I mean, you got to have a place to stream your stuff. You got to have servers. You got to have all that.
But you just need a mobile network these days, and then you can actually communicate. So I think setting up a mobile network is about the same as setting up an transmitter.
Well, I don't know. I mean, strategically, I don't know whether or not that's a good idea.
Okay, yeah, but MINDEF should be saying something, right?
But then again, SPH they're quite rubbish too because they don't report the stuff they're supposed to report.
Oh, leave that to your sister. Every morning, right? I noticed that she used to come on every morning on her Facebook page.
Butter blows up.
Yeah, but now she comes in the afternoon as well. I've noticed that. I guess she has some free time.
Because she's taking care of her mom, so sometimes she's really taken up too. Yeah.
But she's funny, and she's been on my podcast as well.
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
wait, has the show started or is this?
Of course, no. I mean, we've just been rolling. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We just take the juicy bits and put it on.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Chris Hansen Conversation. I'm so excited because I've always wanted to meet her. I had an opportunity to have met her once before, years ago, but it just didn't happen. We were on the same TV show, but I've never got a chance to meet her. But today, she's here in my studio, and she's a legend on radio because I tell you why, she's my legend. Let me tell you why. Because when I drive back home at night, years and years back, and I drive back home and I hear that voice on air late at night, and I go, oh my God, who is this girl? Hi, this is Love Songs.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm the love goddess. Oh my goodness me. Suzanne Walker, everybody.
Oh,
welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Chris. That was about 30 years ago. You've really dated me. 30 years ago.
No. I was dating you. I was dating you every time I'm in the car at night, and I turn on to your station and you're on.
It's just like I didn't know about it, right? Like I was dating so many NS boys as well, but I didn't really know about it.
Actually, there's some truth there, Yeah, a lot of the guys back then don't tell me, hey, this girl, Suzanne Walker on the air. My goodness, the way she goes on air, the way her voice goes.
Well, back in the day, I don't think they had any other radio stations that were broadcasting at that time. So a lot of the NS boys would actually listen to the radio, and they would actually line up. There was previously, I think, a payphone, so they will line up like in the camp that they were at, and they will wait their turn to make a call to me and hope that I'll pick up, and then dedicate a song to their girlfriend and tell me exactly what time I should actually play that dedicated song, because their girlfriend will be back home or on the bus, or maybe she'll be settled back in her bedroom and listening to the radio. Yeah. So I do know there were many NS boys who were listening to me during Love
But you
Songs.
know something, man? That persona you put on.
Yeah.
That voice you put on air, right, as the love goddess, right? I mean, how did you do that? Okay, can I just ask you to just replicate that one more time? Just for everyone to just reminisce a little bit.
You're listening to the greatest of all human emotions, Love Songs, on Class 95.
Oh my goodness me. Let me take the cans off a bit. All right. My ears were sweating on the inside.
No, actually, I got a lot of guidance. I think there were some American consultants that came in to SBC then, and they wanted to actually do a 24-hour format radio. And the guys
from Coast to Coast.
I think so. I think one of the guys' name was Todd. I can't remember. And he was telling me, like, late night programming, people want to hear you be intimate with them. They want something close and warm, and think about it. Like, think of what you would like to hear if you were alone, And so they put me in that kind of headspace, and that kind of helped me gear myself towards the kind of persona that you heard. But I'm very grateful that it was such a success, but it was difficult for me career-wise because it was very hard to get out of that program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people still want that. Like what you've just asked. They still want that, but it was actually a very intentional type of presentation that
But you know why?
created.
I think people still want that because not many people can do that.
Well, I think many other girls have tried the close mic
Oh, no.
technique,
They all fail. They all fail. Because speaking for myself and the people I know, I can tell you no one remembers any of them.
Well, yeah, that's the funny thing,
We remember
right?
you.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. But I think maybe it was just the first time people were listening to something like that.
You must have heard your own playback, right?
I have. And like people,
that's why.
even when at Christmas parties, I still have people say, can you do that line, the Love Songs line? Can you just do that for me, please? And I just do it, and everyone just have a good laugh. I just did it like 2 Christmases ago.
You were quite the inspiration, a bit for me, because I think I told FD this years back.
And FD actually was doing the late night show at Perfect 10, and sometimes we would chat. So yeah, I remember FD in those late night
I told FD,
programs.
Was it Perfect 10? Was he ever in Perfect 10?
He was. I think he would do a show or something like that. Then he'll come on and do some late night programming.
He came into straight away to Class 95 in the morning with Joe. His first foray into radio, not Radio Fusion Radio,
he
was
was also doing Perfect 10, I think,
Was
late
he?
night. Yes, late night.
Sometimes
Just
maybe he covers
probably
with
as
someone.
a part-timer.
Yeah, as a cover.
He wasn't a full-time presenter then.
Because I told him years ago, I remember saying something like this to him, because, I really want to have that slot that Suzanne has, because I think I can do the male version.
Yeah.
You're listening to love songs. And all you have to do is keep me as your company tonight. Bring up the subs. Bring up the volume, bring up the low frequency, and then
they did try with another male presenter after I left, but it was a different vibe altogether.
Simon, is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He who pronounces his name and makes it sound more like a fish than it actually is.
But back to how I came up with that program. A lot of people.
You are so good at deflecting that. You're doing this Tai Chi thing with me.
I've gotten into trouble by saying things I shouldn't be saying, so I know I'm quite an expert.
But you're no longer in any station. I'm not in any station. Hey, I'm sorry, Simon, but really, this is how you sound. I'm just being freaking honest here.
Back to how I came up with those love song tags.
Goodness, so good.
Greatest of all human emotions. Actually, those lines came from a very famous book. And of course, I wasn't romantic. I'm the least romantic person in the world.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean,
come on.
I am not at all. And I'm so not into like romantic dinners or even like listening to love songs.
What?
Yeah, I was more into getting my tan every weekend. So to inspire myself, I got this book, Khalil Gibran. Khalil
Gibran, okay.
Yeah, and it was about love. It talked about love and the emotions of love. So I read through that entire book, and that tag, the greatest of all human emotions, comes from that book. So I wasn't original actually. I mean, I have to give credit. You were doing this
character acting thing, you mean?
Correct. And just to think about what are these great emotions and how do you express them and what are the proper phrases and words to use? It came from that book.
Who came up with this love goddess moniker for you?
I think the love goddess came from a colleague of mine who was in class 95. I think it was Chris. And he used
Chris
to say,
Ho?
No, it wasn't Chris Ho. Chris, I think he's based in the US now. He left. He wasn't there for very long. And he was just one of the part-timers.
Chris Go.
Yes.
He's back on air anyway. Part-time, yes.
Is he back on air?
Yes, the 1FM.
Oh.
No, sorry. On Gold. Whoops. On Gold. On Gold. He's on Gold now. Christopher Gold, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one day he said to me, the love goddess is coming on tonight. And then it just stuck, and then it just got around and they just started using that.
Hey, Kai, can we put up that picture of the love goddess, please? Let everyone reminisce again. There you go.
Well, actually, that wasn't me at Class 95. That was me at...
Empower.
No, in SPH Radio.
It doesn't matter, man. It's still you.
Yeah, that was the last publicity promo shot that I took. And that was it. They used to call me the transformation queen because I never looked like that before I got into the photo studio. I needed a lot of hair, a lot of makeup to get what you see now.
Well, that's a great shot, by the way.
Yeah, all the stylists used to say, well, Suzanne, she needs MU. Without MU, please, she needs help.
MU makeup.
Yes,
okay.
So I was really a product of good styling. And I don't mean to sound like,
so modest.
to bust everyone's bubble, but it was the truth, Without a lot of professional help, I wouldn't be the Suzanne Walker everyone knows.
Yeah, okay. I mentioned earlier when we started the show that I almost had the opportunity to have met you on set. But it didn't happen because our scenes we didn't have a scene together.
Was it some Masters of the Sea or some old
it wasn't a cockroach show. So it was you cockroach or whatever. I stop you like a cockroach.
I squish you like a cockroach.
Yeah, that's something like that. Yeah. No, it was Shiver.
I think I was with K-Tong, right? And then I had to do a love scene. No. I just hated it. I was such a bad actor.
You had a love scene with K-Tong?
Something like, we would fall into bed and they wanted me to be all natural about it. But I was so stiff. I was like, oh my goodness, I prefer radio any day. Was it that? Was it that episode?
No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't. That was Growing Up, wasn't it?
No.
K-Tong. Okay, yeah. It was Shiver. It was a show called Shiver. And Andrew, it was just you, me, and Andrew Xiao on that show for that script. And Andrew was this journalist and he is happily married, but then he's been plagued by all kinds of funny things that have been happening. All the bad stuff has been happening to him. And unbeknownst to him, someone has been trying to mess up his life. And then you walked into the picture. Now, we were not together because our scenes we were never meant to be in any scene. And you turned out to be the woman that, the sexy lady that walked in and into his life, and nothing actually happened, but his wife got upset with him. And all the while, the guy that's been messing his life up was his own boss, his editor, and it's me. And I happen to be an alien.
Goodness.
Planted on the planet to see how we can mess human beings' lives up.
No wonder it was only for one season, right? Like, is that the storyline?
That was the storyline.
I usually would just be asked to do something and I had to do it because it's all part of
You had to sashay across the camera.
Did I do that?
Yes.
Was this at Balestier Road? Kim Tien mentioned some house
I was
there?
not with you for your scene because we never had a scene together. But when we saw the final cut, right, when it was released, I said, there's Suzanne Walker just walking past the cameras and looking at Andrew like,
I had to do a lot of these things because it's part of the job, right? So I would just go like, okay, what do you want me to do? And then, okay, do this. But I wouldn't actually know the whole script or the whole plot.
I was thinking to myself, shucks, what the hell? I missed the love goddess.
I think I remember that day. It was a very long day. And I think I shot in this little apartment in Kim Tien, I think somewhere around Balestier. And it went on late into the night. It was one of those old walkout apartments.
Some of these things, sometimes a short little scene can take hours.
It took hours.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why I just realized, hats off to people who make a career in television, but those hours are long.
It's crazy, man.
And the kind of energy you need, it's just like, it's not the kind of energy that, even I think good DJs have, right?
I remember when I was on the set of 999, I was also, I'm always a villain. Yeah.
You look the part,
yeah,
Chris.
I know. Look at me, man. Look at this bloody face of mine.
No, but it's a strange thing that you never went into like TV or radio full time. I know him as someone who's like gone on and did something in the corporate world, right? But now I just hear that you were actually dabbling behind the scenes and doing a bit of pieces here and there on radio and TV. But how come it never panned out?
I have no idea, man. I mean, I went for Fame Awards.
My goodness. That's like back in the 1990s,
yeah.
right?
And you know what? Back then when I had an ass, and I wasn't too bad, man, and I didn't make it through. And after which, I told this story to FD this season. But I had a place on radio and for some funny, circumstances came in, and I didn't. And misunderstanding, miscommunication, and I didn't manage to go in.
That's so unfortunate.
So I pursued a completely different, route, and I went into the financial sector. Okay, I'm not going to really dwell so much on that because nowadays you talk about these things, you need to get permission, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I'm not really going to talk so much about that. But
you had an opportunity long time ago.
I did. And for those who want to find out more, go and watch that episode that I had with Flying Dutchman, okay? I talked about that story there.
But did you have to go through lots of interviews and voice tests too?
No, man, there wasn't a need.
Really?
Yeah.
I went through 4 interviews.
I didn't have to. I was like, you're coming on.
Wow.
And that was how fantastic it was for me back then. I was so overjoyed because that's all I wanted to do in my life. Everything I've ever wanted was just that. But I suppose, being staunchly Catholic, I would say that God has his ways and he works in mysterious ways. And
look, you're a famous podcaster now.
I'm not famous lah.
No, I just want to say radio has changed. I'm sorry you missed that opportunity then. Yes, radio was at its heydays. It was before TV caught up. So everyone was listening to the radio and it was so exciting to be a radio DJ.
Yeah.
But I was just listening to the BBC the other day and all of them just talking about the podcast they're listening to. And like people now, they listen to podcasts before they go to bed, or to help them go to bed, or before they go to bed. So
or commuting.
It's the same thing that people would say about radio, right? I would drive and listen to the radio. Before I go to bed, Suzanne, I'll listen to you on the radio. But these days, it's all about podcasts. So I think you're just taking, you're now in radio, but a new generation of radio, which is podcasting.
I suppose so, because MediaCorp put me through, back then it was called TCS, put me through 2 months of training with, I don't know if you remember names like Cynthia Rosenfeld.
No.
This lady and her husband were contracted to train actors in MediaCorp, TCS back then. And these were the people who trained Kirstie Alley, Ted Danson for Cheers.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was with a whole group of people, and pardon me, but I think there's no harm in mentioning who these people are. Andrea De Cruz, we were the same batch.
Oh.
Yeah. And that was before, that was the reason why after that I got all the major role stuff that came in. 999, the Alien and Shiver, PCK.
Oh.
Yeah. And 2 months of training. Every week I was in Caldecott.
And it was like actor training.
Actor training, yeah.
Oh, I think that's great. I don't even know if they have that still, right?
I don't know. But I went through that. And then after that, my Elvis show, okay. I do very good Elvis. And it was featured on Channel 8 as one or two features in this program called 成人杂志, which was a very, very popular program in Channel 8 viewers' homes.
So you gave up your dream about radio and you moved into television?
No, I mean, that was the next best thing. No. I didn't move into television. I was acting major role. Just for major role acting, not full-time, nothing like that.
Okay.
So when they got a role, they cast and they think that, I think this guy can do this role, and just call him up and then...
My goodness, you spent all your free time probably at Caldecott. Earning very little, but just enjoying life, right?
Man.
Yeah, they never paid, but everyone did it for passion.
Yeah, I mean, I did it for experience. I did it to learn. And I think I learned quite a bit, which turned out to be a good thing for me, because I do a lot of live shows. I do a lot of D&Ds and all kinds of stuff.
I don't know how you can do it. I mean, hats off. That's the reason why I was...
It's been 40 years doing it.
Yeah, man. You're still doing it. And hats off. A lot of people still like to do MC work. I'm a terrible host.
I just emceed an amazing show 2 nights ago for a wedding of 2 musicians. They got married and they're fantastically talented. Half the ballroom were filled with seasoned musos, man.
Well,
it was heaven.
If you have a crowd like that, yes, it's easy to host.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have a very serious corporate crowd,
it depends on what the program calls for. I mean, the ends justify the means, right? You begin with the end in mind. So if they want it to be fun, then okay, then you have to expect the crowd to be. Look, it's a Singaporean audience, man. Singaporeans are awkward that way. You got to put an applause sign there for people to clap. But I don't do that. I say, hello, take your left hand. Take your right hand, put together, go faster, can? This is called clap, your clap.
And that's the reason why everyone thinks it's easy work. It's not. It's hard work.
It's not, but
hard work.
But if I may leave, but this is the mantra I started, and I think a lot of MCs are using that now, because FD and I had the MC Academy by the Flying Dutchman. We taught for 7 years, and this is original to me. I told FD on that when he came here that, bro, don't say that. That one is copyrighted to me, man. I mean, that's my baby. I said that,
Spit it out.
We're the glue that bind the glitter. We're not the glitter. As long as we remember, we're the glue. And we always have objective in mind and just keep the program hyped.
Yes.
And we keep going on and on and on. Don't let the hype drop.
And it can be so exhausting at the end of the night. And then you're so hyped up, you can't really go to bed. So you have to stay up. And then it's 2 a.m. and you're still up. And you're wondering why.
Look, it's almost the same thing as what you did before as a love goddess, right? If I want to ask you, hey, the stories you told me, NS men will queue up at a public phone and they'll call you up and leave dedications. I mean, you must have heard so many stories. I also remember there were a couple of occasions where you got upset with some things when a lady calls up, especially the women, when they call up and they tell you some not bullshit, but some cockamamie stupid shit that their other half, husband, boyfriend, would have said or done to them, and then you go absolutely ballistic.
Okay, well,
I remember those times. There were times like that. Moments like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, then it was just me being my authentic self, which, I felt like, I mean, sometimes people said that was bad because like I was too real at times, but I guess today this is so important, right? Being your authentic self now,
Yeah.
But but the funny thing is I never got a complaint. I used to sometimes like leave the program thinking, oh no, someone's going to call and complain, about what I said. But no, actually, what I remember, Chris, are actually very lonely people who called me up later on in the night.
Yep.
The show would run until 2 a.m. So around 1 a.m., usually, I mean, the calls would slow down. And the ones that I pick up sometimes are women who actually are not sleeping and whose husbands are not home.
Yep.
And you know what the husband is doing, having an affair.
Yep.
And she just wants to talk to me because she's put the kids to bed and she's just sitting there wondering what her life has come to. I remember this lady and she would just tell me, I cooked French fries. I was listening to you. Now I've cooked my French fries. I want to eat my French fries, but I need to talk to someone. I remember this lady very vividly till today. She called me once or twice. And then another time a girl was telling me she wanted to, jump and stuff. Yeah. So these were the calls I remember.
Wow.
Yeah. But if any girl called me and told me my boyfriend's cheating on me, but I still love him. Yeah, I think I will get ballistic. I do that even till today.
So don't be a silly girl.
Yes. Yeah, but actually that show made me realize how loneliness can really crack people up. And I took a few of these calls.
And that's, I've encountered some of those calls that you've had with some of these people, which just goes to show how hard I work in my life. I come back home late at night because I can listen to your show. It's always in the car.
The car.
And of late, I've asked myself, because I know that you're coming on my show today, right?
Yeah.
I actually asked myself, why? Why don't we have this sort of shows anymore? Because I think it really it does a great service for people.
Well, I think everyone feels that it's not needed anymore because there's Spotify, you can go on YouTube.
No, it's not about that. I'm talking about, but it's a person that talks about love and show someone how much you love that person. Call me up. Tell me your story. It's still relevant to this day. It will never go out of fashion.
Yeah, actually, I feel that it's even probably going to be more of a success today because back in the day, some of these youngsters would only use the payphone and after 3 minutes, you hear the beep, beep, beep. And then
10 cents, put in another 10 cents,
now they have their handphones and they can actually finish the story for me.
And they don't even need to leave the real names too, right?
Yeah, they don't have to. Or like they can even like WhatsApp and then I can call them up now. Before it was really just about phone lines coming through.
You know what? An idea just struck me. Hey, Kai, remember what FD said about going live? Remember we go live on a Saturday morning or something like that? Remember what he said?
Yeah.
Maybe we should just do one where, hey, call me.
You should. I mean, actually, I've seen podcast programs where they take in calls as well. So you can do it.
But you know what's sad about that bit? As I also said to FD before in that episode. Now, look, if only... we can do, we podcast can also do music, like a music station, because copyrights are always an issue. And then play music and then, okay, we're going to play this song for your dedication station, but it's digital, right? Like online, I mean, like this show, right? But we can't do that. The reason why your show was a success in my mind was because you take in dedications, you can play requests, you can play all these lovely songs, and it's meaningful. So people feel that there's a high touch to it.
Yeah, and I think it's not accurate to say that giving someone a dedicated song it's not a big deal anymore. I think it's a big deal.
It is,
It really comes from the heart, that message, and you can hear it in the voice. And people forget that the audio can be so emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have great sound systems. So the voice comes across even more dynamic and intense.
How long were you on radio?
I was there for that program from 1993 to early 1996.
Yeah.
Then I went to Power 98. And then my last stint was with SPH Radio from the time they bought over WKRC to when it went to SPH. They built the studio in SPH. And then in 2009, I just said, I think that's enough. I mean, radio never paid well, okay? I just want to be clear. You know, if you really wanted to make money in radio, you had to do a lot of hosting, MC gigs. And it was not my thing because it's very tiring.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give your all on radio and then give your all in a night at an MC gig. You just can't.
Yeah.
So it's either one or the other. And I actually chose to focus on radio. And I just decided that, okay, in 2009, it's time to look at, building up my CPF so I can get my flat. These are serious things for every Singaporean. And I'm sure everyone's happy to hear that I have managed to actually build up my CPF. So it's been good for me. But I spent a good part of my life just doing what I love, and I have no regrets.
And after radio, where did you go?
I joined the civil service and I was an information officer for 11 years. And it was completely different. And I had to really leave my radio career, my radio persona behind and then move on to be a civil servant.
How was that for you? I mean, how do you feel about that? I mean, you spent years being that personality on air. Then suddenly you're a civil servant and suddenly there are rules to follow.
Yeah, yes, real rules. I remember the first time I wrote a submission and then they said you can't use I, you have to use we because, and that kind of gives you an indication that in the civil service, it's not about you. You just have to take a back seat. So even my voice had to take a back seat because, you're doing government work. And a lot of people were just surprised that I lasted so long. Many people just told me maybe after 2 years, you'll come running back to radio. But I stuck around, but I think 11 years is long enough.
Why did you stick around? I mean, did you start to enjoy it?
It was a different world altogether, and that's what I appreciated. And I thought I was doing something for Singapore. Just like for radio, you're doing it for your listeners, I mean, back in the old days, I don't know what the thinking is right now, but when I joined the civil service, it was to serve Singapore. I mean, it's a calling, right? So I always thought I'm doing this for the nation. We are just, supporting the government of the day and we're doing what we need to do. And the end product is it's supposed to help the nation. But in time, it becomes a job. So after a while, you just have to be realistic and just say,
So what did you do specifically? I mean, where were you?
You get posted everywhere. The Ministry of Manpower, Enterprise Singapore, National Youth Council Singapore, and then even the National Research Foundation. So you get posted everywhere.
But you attained eventually in the civil service a senior leadership role, right?
Yeah, but I mean...
Was it relief, fear, or excitement when you decided when you got that position?
It just meant more work,
Yeah, but you left radio after so long. You went into civil service. You took it on as a national service, right, to serve your nation and the government in the day. Yeah. And then you got into a senior leadership position. I mean, did you ever expect that?
No, I didn't, and I don't think I was cut out to be in that position.
Right. To
be honest, because as you get high up in the civil service, it's a different ballgame altogether. It's real serious work, and you support the government of the day in doing communications work that supports the priorities at a national level.
Right.
And it really made me question, and of course the hours are long. And it really made me question whether this is really what I want to do because do I really want to climb even higher and take on that added stress? But I have to say some of these postings changed me.
Okay.
I was at Enterprise Singapore and I worked there during COVID, and how we worked so hard to let everyone know that Singapore was still open for business. It was necessary for our country because we must have trade.
This was just recent COVID.
Yeah,
right?
COVID.
Yeah.
And the work, I realized that there was meaning and value. Then I was posted to the National Youth Council, and I have to say that really changed my perspective because I worked with so many young people. And you know what? They questioned me. They asked me, is this your passion? Now Gen Z, Gen Millennial. Gen Z, right? They was just say, is this what you're passionate about? Now you should do work that you're passionate about. They actually made me question, what I was doing. And then I said, well, aren't you doing something that maybe you don't have passion about? But then they said, yes, but I have a side hustle, and my side hustle is my passion project. So even though I don't make a living with what I'm passionate about, at least I have a side hustle, and that keeps me sane and keeps a balance in my life. And how about you, Suzanne? So they were so pointed and they asked me these questions, and I realized times are changing.
Okay.
Now it's not like your parents' time where you work, and save money, and then no, you're on the right track. And I think what they tried to convince me, and I was convinced, was that you also need to do things that are meaningful to you, that gives you happiness, even if your day job doesn't. And that's when I realized that, okay, maybe it's time to look around to see what else, I can do that gives me the bliss.
Wait, hang on. So these young people actually were the catalyst for you to take that plunge to leave. Yeah. You left, right?
Yes, I left. Yeah, they were the ones that planted the seed. Nowadays, I tell you, Chris, youngsters just don't go, I want to get a job, I want to get this job, and that's it. I'm going to work there for the next 30 years. They're like, 5 years is good enough, and let's see what's next.
It's so funny, just to echo what my dear friend Adrian Chu, the career strategist, always says, that back in our day, employers will look at your CV and your resume and say, wow, you're a very loyal person. You've been with this company for so long, and people like you for that. Employers, it's a plus point, But these days, if you don't have too many things on your resume, they frown.
Exactly.
They rather have you have more sets of experience, moving around from company to company to company, taking different positions, rather than seeing you being loyal to one.
But that's what they were telling me. And I was like, but I thought I'm being loyal, right? They said, but then are you passionate in what you're doing, right? So they asked these really pointed questions, and it got me thinking. And I see how happy they are, like they love photography. Some of them would work Monday to Friday, and on Saturdays, they're wedding photographers. And it gives them so much joy to get out there, They spend the whole day taking photos and making people happy, and then showing me their Instagram feed and all the photos that they've done. Others just love to cook,
So how long have you left your full-time job?
I left in October, so it's just
been a while.
Yeah,
So from then to now, have these young people proven themselves right?
I'm happy.
Okay.
I just got a text today asking me how I'm doing, but I'm happy. I think 11 years in a job is long enough, and I'm okay. I thought maybe I should be busy. I mean, I still sleep with my phone. Now I realize just this morning I don't have to sleep with my phone. I can just leave it on the desk charging overnight. Yeah.
I would have thought that this decision to leave your full-time civil service job was because years ago someone said to you about being true to oneself, the late Chris Ho. I thought he would have been the catalyst for you to make that decision. Yeah, he said this to you, didn't he? Being true to oneself.
Yeah, he did. And I think what happened was Chris came to me during SARS. And SARS during that time, those who lived through SARS would know that it was very tough. It was not like COVID where the government gave you money and you could tie through, right? SARS, my goodness, contracts were pulled, everyone lost their jobs.
Yeah, SARS was a different ballgame.
Sorry, businesses are just going under. Sorry, you just have to deal with it. But the thing about SARS was that there were many people who were unemployed. And so we all hung out together. And Chris Ho at that time was starting a new band, a concept band, and he asked me to be Susu Law, this alter ego. And I was just telling him, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. I should be focused on finding a job. How can I just use my time unemployed to get into a band and do all these crazy things with you, Chris, And he was like, no, that's the thing about Singapore. They expect you to be productive all the time. They expect you to do the right thing. Yeah. And if you use this time to join a band, then they think that you're not being useful when you should be useful going out there, sending out applications, trying to get a job, when realistically, what are the chances of you getting a job at this point?
Yeah.
So then he said, like, be true to yourself. What do you want? Like, don't feel bad because you're not doing what everyone expects you to do, right?
Well, he's like that too. I mean, he's how would I describe Chris Hall? He's a rebel.
Yeah, he's a rebel.
He's a rebel.
He's crazy too.
Yeah, and that guy would just go against the norm anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, he made a lot of sense and said, "Is this what you want to do?" And I realized it was great. It was a great outlet because I, like many people, were angry. We had lost our jobs. We had nothing to do. We just like, when is this going to end? We had to ride it through, right? And it affected our professional and personal lives as well. And so, I mean, that angst, that anger, the rebellion that I was feeling, which Chris brought out, it was great. It was great to channel it in that band. And in fact, now that I have left, it's not painful. Like everyone thinks it's painful, right? But during that time at SARS and what happened and what Chris shared with me, it helps me now because I use that same lesson, right? Why must change be bad? Change can be good. What makes you think it's going to be worse just because you've left your job in the civil service? Of course, everyone thinks it's very bad. I can tell you that. But it can be good. Like, is this your life purpose to be in the civil service? It could be something else.
Yeah.
Why do you think, there's no other options for you? How could you close yourself off to opportunities that the universe is waiting to present to you? And I know this is very airy-fairy, but it's very Chris Ho, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same thoughts that play with me now at this age, I think 20 years after.
Yeah.
After that time.
Yeah, I mean, I see where he's coming from. I mean, certainly as years go by, most of us, I hope, we get struck by a few epiphanies in life, don't we?
Yes.
Right? Like screw this, man. Stop fucking about and go running around chasing after some cheese.
Yeah. I mean, like, realistically, what do you want out of life? So... Yeah. I mean, a lot of these things, it's okay. It wasn't just the people I worked with at the National Youth Council, but it was, of course, in the past, what has happened.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize, like, I remembered some of these conversations I had in the office, and I went back and as I was traveling home and I thought about it, and these things actually set things in motion for me, and made me just realize, okay, I mean, everyone is putting a lot of pressure on you because, you're at the senior level and you're like quite old already and you honestly want to leave and like start anew. I'm like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. When you started your podcast, Women Talking.
Yeah.
Did it happen? Did that start whilst you were still working in the civil service or after you've left?
Well, I was still there. I just started it and I did it because I was a bit tired. Because, when you do government comms, they're very broad, right?
Yeah.
Very broad, and this is all for the nation. And yeah, these are the priorities. But I feel that, I'm from a radio background where people's stories are usually where the gems are, correct? And I think it was a part of me that missed that. And I also, at a certain age, when you're past 45, you realize many of your women friends have gone through amazing journeys, and yet no one recognizes them.
Okay,
right? Yeah.
okay.
In Singapore, rewards you if you're a millionaire or billionaire, or you are a CEO, or you're very good in the stock market, or you got recognized overseas and you won a Grammy Award. But the validation comes with these external recognition. But many women in their personal lives have really triumphed over great obstacles. So I thought, okay, I want to talk about these women and I want them to share their stories. And I think I wanted to present something a bit more authentic.
Yep.
And I just thought it was lacking. And
okay.
That's why it went there.
But when you started this as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
And it still is a hobby.
Yeah, it still is. And I look to you. I just can't imagine how good you are with marketing. You got your act together. You got a great set,
Kai, what marketing?
And here am I, It's just like, oh, Adobe Audition. Okay. How do you increase volume? But it reminds me of my early days, in radio. When we had to do our own production, there were no producers before.
Yeah.
So it brought me back maybe 30 years to my first first time in radio doing my own produced work for love songs.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy now with AI. A lot of things are a lot easier.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I still go through the old-fashioned way to remove clicks. I can even go into a waveform and just extract that click.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. But I mean, sure. I mean, okay. I never have been on radio, right? Always been on stage, and I'm just the guy with a microphone doing my shows. Right?
But you're great at it.
But well, at 50 years, well, not 50 years old. Was I 50 then? Okay, 50, 52, 53. When I left that last show, and I had this itch that I just needed a scratch because I really enjoyed it so much doing the podcast. And well, this is what you see here. Prior to us even starting, was 2 years of waiting and planning, and it fell in my lap because when we bought this house, and I never thought of it, my wife, while we were having the design chats with our IDs, said, "Okay, so where can I build a studio?" And when I looked at her, what?
Oh,
I said,
so
"Yeah,
nice.
you want a studio, right?" Because I teach as well, so it's this purpose as well. I said, "I mean, yeah, I would love to have a studio." Then okay, we built a studio.
Oh,
And this space you see here was empty space. So really, it was built, purpose built. And I said, okay, there's no turning back now. So we built the space, and then I didn't know anything about audio engineering. I didn't know anything about video editing. I didn't know anything about design, and I learned it all off YouTube.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's painful, and it can be long.
No,
and
but
you
I
have to
kind of
go through
enjoyed
some.
it. Yeah.
But I'm sure there were some like glitches along the way.
Oh yeah,
And
for
then,
sure.
When you
For
lose
sure.
something, a recording,
Yeah. And of course, along with that, what's the branding going to be like? And how what's your vertical? And I realized that I'm the kind of guy that just can't stick to one. You know what I mean? 'Cause everybody seems to, okay, well, let's do the hantu stories.
no, those are very popular. They were very popular during
Which
COVID.
is why I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and people are still doing it.
Yeah, I don't like to do the hantu stories because in Asia, everyone talks about hantu. That's how we started the UFO series.
Oh, are there UFO stories in
Mine.
Singapore?
Oh yeah,
I've
you'd
never
be
seen one.
shocked, man.
I think I'll see a
I
ghost before
even
a
know
UFO.
where's the hotspot in Singapore for UFO sightings.
Did you do a series on this?
I haven't. I have one episode at least every season, and we're shooting this in a couple of weeks. We're going to be, and we bring the news about what's been going on worldwide about the UFO phenomenon, which is now, they're called UAPs now. It's in U.S. Congress.
Oh, what does a UAP stand for?
The two things it stands for: unidentified aerial phenomena, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. Because it's not aerial; they're also underwater.
Oh.
Yeah, the old name is called USO, unidentified submerged object. And now the U.S. Congress have admitted that they've known of 5 underground, undersea bases, alien bases on Earth.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know about that. I just know about
that's the
the
thing.
Russian-trained beluga whale, right? That's a huge social media sensation.
Oh yeah, caviar, right? And yeah, so we had to decide what we're gonna do. Then I have this passion for entertainers, for musicians, and for any enabler for the music and nightlife industry in Singapore. And then we decided, let's do a tribute show too. Because so many things I want to do.
No, I quite like that. I think recently you had that concert, Don't Write Us Off. And I think
Yeah.
that was so nice. It's just like, it just captures what I think a lot of people feel in Singapore and this aging society. Don't write us off. You know?
Yeah.
It's always about the youngsters. Don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll get your career going. We'll give you a nice HDB flat. But those who are 55, 60 and, just many of them are lost,
Yeah.
And I've been to a few support groups recently, and I think there's like one is called the Caring Chapter or something like that. And I've spoken to some, especially men, I feel they have a hard time actually trying to navigate this space that they're in, where they're not then they don't have a job.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
And they know that they have a good 20 years
Yeah.
in this lifetime.
Life. Yeah. Couple more laps around the sun still.
And they still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Or they just feel no one's giving them a job.
Look at me, man. I'm one of them.
No, you got your act together. No, you got to go. It's called the Courage Chapter. I've gone for 2 of their sessions and I feel very terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel that men take it worse. I guess maybe they feel very...
Funny you should mention that now, because my next question was going to be women talking sex. Is this one? How about men? I mean, don't the men get it too? I mean, men talking too. I mean, like you just said, look at these guys, and we've got pride. When people think that the young people will take care of you. What makes you think we want you to take care of us? We still want to find that independence, the need to still be able to be economically viable. You know what I mean? And be able to still grow ourselves from the craft that we got good at doing. Yeah,
but jobs are finite in Singapore, right? Yeah. So I can see how the priority may want to go to the younger person because they have to build up their livelihoods and their families. And
where the economy is concerned and where commercialism is concerned, everyone will be targeting the younger audience for sure. You can't change that. When we were younger, it was the same for us. But this is what I feel. I think, come on, people. I mean, if as the older we get, right, find something we really go to do that thing you love and get really good at it because we still can, and keep yourself active.
Yeah, because at that event, like Don't Write Us Off, I remember you brought up Larry Lai and he must be in close to in his 90s. 85. 85. I thought he was I thought he was 90 years old. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, from mid 50s to 90, what are people doing? Right?
Yeah. And he's still sharp as hell, The man's brain is like an axe. It's still so sharp. He didn't slow down up here.
I just know you got emotional when he at that event because of Larry Lai. But I was also thinking, how about this cohort of people, right? What are they doing? And when I attended the Courage Chapter and I just saw these men talk about how they have not been successful trying to secure even part-time work, I just feel really terrible.
Yeah.
It's not like just because you're 60, you have to become a security guard, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for them to swallow, particularly if they held very senior positions and then they move on to be a security guard. It's just hard for them to accept that. But for women, I'm actually fine. I
mean, women are more resilient than we guys, I mean, I admit to that. I admit to it. My wife is 10 times stronger than me.
I mean, she's an ace, man. She's doing so much. She's a savvy businesswoman, Chris. She's a mover shaker.
She is. She's really bright. I'm proud of her. I'm proud to have her as my wife. I'm saying it. But again, back to the point.
Oh, yeah.
So women, women talking.
Why?
Are you going to do something for men?
Well, I did put on a male caregiver, Alvin Tan, and he talked about...
Alvin.
Yeah, he actually single-handedly cares for his mother who has dementia. Yeah. And I think it's amazing. And he talked about the sacrifices that he's made and how he views caregiving. He sees it as joy, as duty, and he derives joy out of the duty, even though it comes with sacrifices. So I quite like that. But no, at this point, I want to focus on women because really, I just okay, I don't want to come across as
yes.
I just don't seem to get men very well. I mean, listen, my marriage didn't work out and I find it very hard to date. I was
hello, you can always invite me on your show. It just all depends on your topic, right?
Yeah, it's
I can get in touch with my female side. Don't worry about it.
And I also don't think men are willing to share so much. I don't think men will go down all the way to talk about all these
oh man,
personal issues.
I feel so damn insulted, man. Damn it.
I mean, would you, Chris? Would you want to do that?
Ask away. I'm here. Bring your show on my show. Ask away.
Would you? Okay. Well, I was thinking. Well, we had a cancer series because it was breast cancer.
Okay. I mean, be fair, man.
Okay. But for you, right? I can just ask you this.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Do you feel a lot of angst and maybe, regret or anger that you never had an opportunity to fulfill your wish to be a radio
All
DJ?
the time.
And how have you taken it out and how have you exercised it?
I have never exercised it. I will say this again, and I've said it before quite openly. I will take this to my grave. It will be a regret that I will live until I said 9 feet. Every correct is 6 feet. So look at my size. It has to be 9 feet. 9 feet underground.
And so to actually work out the loss that you feel, you've continued to be an MC, and maybe this is the reason why you became a podcaster.
This is the reason why I became a podcaster.
And do you always feel as though every podcast you do, you feel you need the validation from people who are former radio DJs? How do you see us?
Actually, that's an interesting question. Let me just feel about it, not think about that.
Yeah, feel. You got to feel.
Actually, you're right. I would dare say 70% of the time, yeah. I don't ask directly, but yeah, it is kind of validation for me. Yeah.
But you want that validation.
I want the validation. I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And you want, probably the radio station was a MediaCorp radio station, so you want even validation from MediaCorp.
Look, I've come to a point where I've accepted the fact that for some funny, strange reason, whatever it could be, they didn't call me back. It's fine. And I think I've come to a point where I go, it's got to be deeper than we just we just want to get back to people we know. People that we're used to, that we don't need any screw up. So you're too new. That could be one reason for me not to be put on. So I've come to a point where, okay, fine, you need me, call me. I'm already 55. Do I really think that people will want me at this stage of my life? Maybe not. So what do? I focus here. I build this.
But you're hurt that they haven't called you back.
Of course, I'm only human. I would say I was hurt. But not very hurt. Hurt, at that time, at that point. Today, there will always be this little tinge of hurt that's left behind because I've not got it. Something, Suzanne, let's put it this way. If I ever get a chance to get on air on my own show for one shift, 4 hours, and I don't go back and do it anymore, I would have a smile on my face. I would have felt fulfilled. I would have felt that at least I got that.
Yeah, but Chris, maybe they can feel it and they know it, and maybe they feel that you're not a fit. It could be anything.
I don't see why I cannot be a fit, because after so many years of doing so many different things, live shows, being able to be so pliable and flexible and adaptable to so many situations where programs and shows are concerned. With my experience, I can fit anywhere. That's to answer what you said. I am a fit. I can be a fit. And you give me a mic, I'm a fit.
But okay, there could be also another reason. They're just slow. They're slow.
You're not the only one to use that reason, No, they're slow. So someone said, maybe some people just don't know how to reject others. I'm crying out loud. All you have to do is say, sorry, Chris, not now. Not at this time. I'm fine. I'll be fine with that. Just a little drop a note and say, Chris, maybe not at this time, but we will keep you in mind. That's it. Done. I'm good.
Yeah, well, I can just say that in the government, we always respond. We have a 3-day turnaround to respond.
There you go.
Yeah, I just want to say that, at least the Singapore government got their act together. In terms of responding.
I hear you.
In terms of responding to public queries.
I will not say any more than that, but all I can say is, Suzanne, I hear you. Okay. Wow. 11 years, really.
You could see it coming out, right? No, but it's drilled in us that we do have to respond, and everyone knows that there should be a reasonable time when you must get.
So
back
you
to
see,
somebody.
not all men. Have I answered you? Answered you in a fashion that perhaps you would accept that guys can get in touch with their softer selves and talk about it?
Well, I was thinking when you said like fit, I'm a fit, like most girls would just say, maybe I'm not a fit,
Yeah, but no,
they would agree.
If let's say for example, if a girl or a lady were to say something like that, and I hear it, I would just say, listen, I think anyone can be a fit if they just work hard at being a fit. It's not going to be a problem, and don't go like defeatist and stuff. I'm not saying that. Look, listen, you can ask me some stuff, and if I feel I really can't do it, I would say I can't do it.
Mm.
This is not about being male or female. It's not a gender bias thing. It's about it's a characteristic and my personality.
Well, also, I don't think a woman will hold on to this dream for so long. Do you think so? I think women are just so much more practical.
No, I have some female friends who still hold on to quite a number of things that they've never let go.
Really?
I think it's a human thing. It's not about gender again. It's not about being male or female.
I just feel as though you've become this little Chris when you talk about this missed opportunity to get back on radio.
I am little Chris anytime because I'm still a Toys R Us kid.
It just feels like it becomes like little Chris, But I don't see this in women. They don't become little again. They talk about.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, I just don't.
Then why are women always talking to me different? They're talking to me like little girls all the time.
Maybe because they want you to protect them. The dynamics of male and female comes through.
So it's not about a gender thing. It's a human thing.
It's a human thing. But my podcast is specifically about what they have managed to overcome. So it's usually about health concern, personal crises that they had to undergo, or maybe a personal or a family dynamic that they had to overcome.
What I'm trying to do is to convince you that, hey, look.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Sometimes you should bring some men into the picture too.
I'm still not convinced. I just don't want to. Just imagine if I had I was just thinking back to what I said, I was doing a cancer series and I was just thinking, should I invite men? But of course I want to talk about prostate cancer, right? Can you imagine how uncomfortable that podcast is going to be when
Why
we
would
talk
it be
about
uncomfortable?
prostate cancer?
Why would it be uncomfortable? I've been involved not on a personal level, but in organizational level, where breast cancer is concerned. I have even typed out stuff, to help my wife out on mother's milk and its wonders. Yeah, annotated the whole darn thing. And I am an advocate for mother's milk. I even tell expectant mothers about whatever you do, just don't be stubborn and lactate and thinking lactation is easy, and stuff like that. This is
when the messenger becomes the issue, right? Are you the right person to send that message?
But don't you think that having a guy like me come on and talk to prospective fathers that this is how you should support your wife when she's trying to breastfeed?
Okay, yeah, that works out.
There you go. I've done that.
Well, yeah, but
You see what I mean?
It's not like it can take up an entire 30 minutes in my podcast. Like you can do a public service announcement. Yeah, okay.
Of course you can take up 30 minutes in your podcast.
No.
Of course you can. Ask AI to help you out in drafting your questions.
I just think it'll be so boring. It'll be very pro-woman. Like, make sure that, she feeds the child breast milk. Breast milk is good, blah, 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 blah. It gets a bit preachy.
It gets preachy. I know it gets preachy, like as if I'm mansplaining. Is it?
Yeah, it's like,
How can I be mansplaining when it comes to a women's thing?
Okay, this is what I just want to avoid because we're in an argument right now, right? Like you're not backing down.
I'm not arguing.
If you listen to my podcast, we're not having this kind of conversation where you're trying to push a point to me. It will never happen. We will explore that emotion and then we'll move on.
Okay, women talking that you couldn't. Women talking, the topics you talk about. Are there things there you could never talk about in your former role in the civil service? Do you talk about these things on your show?
Well, I think in the civil service, I don't talk, right? My opinion doesn't matter. So, I mean, it's...
But how does it feel like to you? I mean, now that you have this opportunity again to talk, about things that, well, you don't talk in the civil service. And now that you've been doing it, how does it feel for you?
Well, I enjoy it. I just enjoy it. I just never had a chance to express myself, and now I have that opportunity. But I think what's more important, that if you look at my guest lineup, that people I kind of know, and I've never been in touch with them because I've been so busy with my job. So it's been great to actually reach out and for them to share what they've gone through. Sometimes we have a little cry. Sometimes we just laugh hysterically. It's been just great.
How do you approach the machinations for your like, for example, your recording? You mentioned Adobe Audition, the editing, the planning, your schedule, your production schedule for your podcast.
Oh, I can't say that. It'll make me look so lame compared to you.
No lah, please lah.
I mean, just can't lah. Do you want me to tell you how? I
mean, from one podcaster to another.
Okay, I just actually started. Okay, when I started in radio, we were also very basic. I think I worked on the first generation for Pro Tools, and then later on in different radio stations, they had different type of software, and it was very basic. And I have to say, my ear for sound was developed, right? Because you listen to every click and everything, and it's actually me going in and trimming the actual wave file, right? And then later on, when I was with Chris, that's when I saw that a lot of production tools have kind of gone more sophisticated. And this time round, I realized that AI has really changed a lot of the functional capabilities many of these softwares have. And what I've done is I've gone in to find out I played around with it actually, and I quite enjoy it. But the actual setup for the recording, I wanted to do digital microphones like what you have. But I realized because I didn't have a studio, I had to use dynamic mics. And I actually wanted the warmth feeling of radio, and they used dynamic mics before. This is before digital. So my recordings are in dynamic mics, and it makes it easy. It means that it's not so sensitive to sound, and I can set up anywhere, which is what I want to do. Because now, I hate to bring in the gender issue again. For women, sometimes they like to be comfortable, right? Okay. And they don't want to be filmed or photographed as well, particularly if they're talking about very personal things, personal health, feminine issues and all that. So I usually just find a place that's cozy, quiet. I arrange to meet them. We have long chats. And if they want to ask me personal questions, professional questions, I share as well. Because when you engage with women on a very deep level, I don't want to appear one-sided. So I do a lot of prep work before. And then if they're okay, whichever venue we agree on, I do the setup. 2 dynamic mics, Adobe Audition. I have a mixer board, and I just set it up, and I do the recording, and I let the recording run. Actually,
it's not the mics you're seeing right now. These mics that we're using, right? They're all dynamic.
Are they dynamic?
They are. Okay. And when I first, for what you're doing for your purpose, right? And especially if you're plugging it into a mixer board.
Yes, into a mixer.
Okay. These are all dynamic.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought Shure was Shure. It's called Shure, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I know they're like
They're not condensers. They're not condensers.
They're not condensers.
They're not. They're dynamic.
Right.
They're dynamic.
I have actually digital mics, and I bought them first, and I tried them out, and I didn't quite like it. But when I listen to many podcasts, I think they're using digital mics. Correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Kai, could you just bring over the MV7i for me, please?
Yeah, sure.
Just to share with you, okay? This is a digital mic, but it is so pliable. Is right behind you. Yeah, thank you. This is something that could be up your alley, because this mic, as you can see, it's an intelligent mic. It's an interface too.
So what does that mean?
So basically, you can two mics. This one mic, you can plug in another mic into this mic, and your 2 mics working without having a mixer board.
Oh.
And then after that, you can output and input into your computer.
So into my Adobe Audition goes straight in there.
Correct. Directly in.
And then I can get 2 mono recordings on the...
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So this guy works really, really well. And for those who get intimidated by microphones, right? There's another one called the... can I have the Move, please? It's charging right behind you.
Sure.
This is one that you might want to be interested in using. For those who say they look at microphones, they get freaked out, for example.
Yeah.
So we got these lavaliers. They're called the Move Mic Receiver Kit too. You see?
These I've seen those. Yeah,
and you
those
just
are
clip on,
useful.
and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just clip it on, and you're done.
So I went to Swee. Yeah, I went to Swee, and I just told them really I don't like my digital mics. I don't like how it's sounding.
Yeah.
So they were the ones who said, okay, we have these dynamic mics, but they're not very popular. But actually, I think they were telling me most musicians prefer dynamic mics.
Yep. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So they said, okay, we have these two that's available. If you want them,
I swear by Shure.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you
want to know the brand of mine?
Yeah.
Fender.
Guitar.
Sold to me by a guitarist at CD.
I thought so. Fender's guitar.
He was telling me, no, this is good enough. It's good enough. It's good enough. And for you to try it out, especially if you're going to actually edit and then it's going to be processed and it's going through Adobe Audition, it should be good enough.
If you decide to change, you just go to the Shure shop online.
Okay. It's pronounced as Shure, right?
Shure, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. SureShop.com.
Sure. Okay.
Go there. Use my code. You can get some limited merchandise.
How much discount? I'm quite an auntie these days.
I don't.
No discount.
No discount, but you got limited merchandise using my code But I swear by them really. And all this time we've only been working on Shure microphones.
Okay. But yeah, that's what I wanted to capture, really, the warmth of the voice.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of video actually, but a lot of people later on just said it has to go on video. But I only made that switch because I was speaking to someone who was following the podcast who said that he doesn't have a Spotify subscription and YouTube is the default place that he would go to listen to the podcast.
Right.
So I said, okay, then it makes sense for me to go to do video and YouTube. There is an audience because you can't expect everyone to have a Spotify subscription.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, even if you don't have a subscription, you can always still go to different podcast playlists. And nowadays, with Spotify, you have it on video as well. Yeah, so you like us, our show, we're on multiple platforms. Most of those platforms are audio. The video platforms would be YouTube, which is our primary platform, and Spotify video.
All right.
So you can, and it's easy to do, it's easy to work, it's easy to upload.
But I just completed a video. I think it was like 20 minutes, and I tried to upload it on Spotify because I think there's a clip function, a tab, right? Clip.
You can't. You got to upload on video.
Clip
is clip. Yeah.
Okay.
Clip is the short one. These are the short ones. So you have to upload video instead. So
I'll just go back and have a look.
Now, how about your thumbnail designs?
They're really basic. They're all on Canva. I hate to sound so
we're on Canva too.
Unprofessional. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad.
Everything we've done or have been doing has all been on Canva.
You know how the name came about? I didn't even have the name handy. It was the person that I interviewed for the first time, So Chin. She was like, what's the name?
Ong So Chin.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, what's the name of your podcast? I said, I really haven't thought about it. Then she said, can you just call it Women Talking? Because she was watching this TV series or Netflix series called Women Talking. And I said, okay, I'll just...
Oh, this is how it happened now.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to put in a lot of brain cells to come up with a name. And and she gave me the idea. So I said, okay. And it will be her name and my name, or my name and the guest name that carries the show. That's how I see it, right?
Right.
So I said, okay, let's settle on Women Talking.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, just to clarify, I never wanted to get into the argument with you. It wasn't an argument anyway. As far as I knew, it wasn't an argument.
There's no argument, but it's just that it's just very different when you talk to the guy because they just want to insist on a point.
Okay. Okay. All right. I was not trying to get into the argument with you.
No, I mean, I don't see it that way, but
Okay, anyways, so just to let you know, I mean, these are things that you can consider, because it seems that you're really going really serious in your podcast. So these are things that you can use.
Well, it's a good thing that you brought it up, that whether I'm serious or not. I find that it's a lot of work. And I find that the format, because it's about women sharing a lot about their personal journeys, it can be quite heavy. And I find that editing these podcasts can be quite draining for me,
Okay.
So, I mean, I am serious into it, but You have managed to last the course, so I don't know if I can actually sustain it. I'm just concerned about that.
How long is your duration per episode on average?
Well, okay, this was also from some feedback that I got. It started with long form, about 30 minutes. And then a lot of people were saying, I listened to it on the MRT, on the bus, and my journey is about 10, 15 minutes. So, and then it clicked, right? Okay, can we do it like at that bite size? So it helps. And if they're really interested, they'll come back for episode 2, which is another 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
And so I've broken it down to 10 to 15 minutes. And sometimes it can be 2 episodes per interviewee, or maybe 3, like my recent one.
Right. Where we are concerned, you can tell that we are definitely long form. And our long form is not half an hour.
No, it's not. But that's the thing, because I think maybe your conversations are lighter. My mind could be heavier, and maybe people just can't sustain for 30 minutes. But it's still something I'm experimenting and I'm wrestling with, and I'm open. I mean, the good thing about podcasting is you can change, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can, but we are stubborn about this because first of all, we don't want to be a party to having more and more people suffering from ADHD. And there's always this thing called the playback button. You can always pause and come back and play back again and continue on, That's all fine. I mean, it's going to be there forever. It's going to be up there. It's loaded already. So if you don't have the time to watch it later. You want to continue later, But I think it's an injustice to my guests that I invite on the show, and just because of the production and just go 15, 20 minutes, I rather have that person who took the trouble to come all the way down to the studio and have a damn good conversation, rather than just, let's cut this short. I really don't think that's very nice. I'd rather really find out about the person and really have a nice conversation rather than, that's why it's called the Chris Hansen conversation. Rather than just, touch and go. And because the audience wants it that way, I've got to think about the guests too. And sometimes people have got stories to tell. They've got so much stories to tell. Yeah. Anyway, what's your take for people balancing successful careers and passion projects? What's the best piece of advice you've received about protecting that hobby time?
I think it's about making time, because there's always an excuse not to do it. And it was really difficult to get started. Like, what I've been sharing with you, what I had to do, even how to get started, the equipment, and the guests, and, the theme, the name, all these sort of things. If I didn't put in the effort to get started, it would have never happened.
But your guests that you invite on, they got stories to tell too.
Yeah.
And do you think that you have to create a safe environment?
I do.
So that they will feel comfortable to talk.
Yeah, for women especially, else they wouldn't, because I hate to sound like a feminist, but they spend years and maybe generations learning to keep quiet, right?
Right.
So if you want them to talk, you have to let them feel safe, and they have to trust you. That's why I'm willing to give more and engage with them more before we even go into recording, and they can choose not to as well. Like I was sharing with you, I was speaking to another person who asked me so many questions about my life, and then they still don't want to come on the podcast, and it's fine. It's fine. I come prepared to let them know that it's never going to be one-sided. And I don't want it to become transactional. Or make them feel that it's transactional, particularly when they're sharing something that's so important to them and that their loved ones are going to hear about it. Yeah.
But what do you do? Let's just name me, maybe if it's a couple of things, maybe one thing that you do to make sure that your guest is comfortable.
I spend a lot of time with them before they come to the recording. I will have coffee with them. I will have lunch with them. I will let them pick the day.
Right.
It can be maybe 2 months down the road, but they have to be ready, right? They have to come committed. So a lot of background prep before the actual recording.
Yeah. Okay. Since your podcast isn't your full-time job yet.
Yeah, it's not.
What is your biggest dream or goal for Women Talking over the next, say, 1 year?
I hope more women will come on and then share, just be candid, to find their voice and to say things. I want, if they can be like you, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think men just have it lucky. They can say whatever they feel like, and women just can't.
Okay.
And I just want them to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
Like one example, caregiving. I mean, to talk about what they had to go through to caregive, sacrifices. Most people are not used to even articulating that, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't. I mean, to articulate that means to come full on to what they've given up, what they've sacrificed, what they have to come to terms with, and the pain that they have to go through to be a caregiver.
Yeah.
So a lot of them wouldn't want to talk about it. So I hope women can just talk about it to find their voice. And if it's how they feel life is unfair and men have it easier, just say it. It doesn't make you a feminist. It just makes you you, and your opinion matters. And I just feel so many times we don't give enough credence to women who do so much. And I hope that's my goal. I don't need a minister to come on, I really don't need it. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for real women who just want to talk about how their life was like, how maybe unfair it was, how great it was, how lucky they were, and to talk about how, and to show everyone, like, even though they were not successful in terms of what Singapore likes to label as successful, they had actually overcome great, tremendous challenges. And I feel we don't do enough of that for women in Singapore. Am I getting very emotional and passionate about this? It's coming
please
through.
Say whatever is on your mind, your heart. Please,
yeah.
I would rather my guest talk. Just go ahead.
I mean, I've seen it so many times. They just like your mothers and your grandmothers and your aunties, just quietly sacrificing their lives, and it's just, and then they go away, and no one remembers that, right? Why can't I remember that? Why can't I remember that story in my podcast? So what if no one listens to it, but one day someone will? Mm-hmm. Or the people who matter will listen. Mm-hmm. And that matters more to that person that I put on that podcast.
Cool. Thank you very much. Really. No, I really wanted to hear that. I mean, that's really cool. Really.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really. And yeah, I mean, I'm not sexist, and I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you thought I was like, I thought you were arguing with me. Chris, you're not, it's just that I feel that you're not in a sense, but I think you were just trying to push my buttons. But I just wanted a space for women to know that this is theirs.
Okay.
And why can't it be theirs?
And on my show, you heard what Suzanne had just said about her show. And if she ever approaches you, don't say no.
No, people say no. And I just want to say, it's okay. I will come back to you again. Don't worry. You can change your mind with me.
But, well, at least have a chat with her first casually, not in front of the camera. But don't say no immediately outright, And I think she's trying to do something that's not easy to do. Okay. Yeah.
Can I also say this? Like, I do not know if people actually look at the number of followers you have, before they decide to come on. I mean, it's not what I did.
I don't know. I don't ask that either.
Yeah, okay. Because like sometimes I feel that people get a bit calculative and they want to look at your followers and all that before they make the decision.
Funny, I never thought about that.
Really? Because if they make the assessment whether I want to do this, because I think people do maybe see things a bit transactionally sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that it's really not about followers, right? It's like I say, it's about people who matter listening to what that person shares about. And if it's just one person, if it's your immediate family, hearing your testimony and hearing your voice for the first time that you never had a chance to, even in the family environment, that is already worthwhile.
Yeah. You see, like I said earlier, I've got several verticals, right? And the verticals I've got, I still lobby and advocate for things as well. For people like musicians, performers, even authors and writers in our series Inkspill, and we do all that. The fun ones would be the UFO stories, and also jobs. People who made mid-career changes and took risks. Guys who were really not educated in the past, before and when they were younger, and then they decided to start a food business. Right? I mean, stories that people can share and tell, lessons people can learn. And we're passionate about all these things. And that's the reason why we have these verticals, much like you. Your shows, you've said a lot, like the passion shines through. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, we all do these to advocate for things that we believe in.
Yeah, it's not easy because I get very, like when you listen to these stories, sometimes you just feel, oh, life is so unfair. But I'm just happy that I have it captured on audio on the podcast. And when I'm editing it, it actually motivates me. I said, I got to make this perfect because, it's something that they have agreed to come on to talk about.
Yeah.
It's just, I'll try to make it as perfect as I can. And then, okay, maybe
because
I'll
all of a sudden you're the custodian of that story.
Exactly, you know, and I feel that sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I've never felt such intense responsibility when I was in radio.
Right.
Because I think we never got so heavily into someone's life in radio when you took in requests and dedications.
Did you see my talking points by chance?
Why?
Because throughout this whole conversation, all the things you said are flowing down exactly the same fashion of how I planned it.
Oh, okay.
Because what you just said, it actually leads to this question, my next question. The roles you've had in your career, from the love goddess on radio to the strategic director from government, and the host of Women Talking, which of these roles do you think is closest to who Suzanne Walker is?
Okay, I it was what my son told me. He said, I'm so happy you've done the podcast. It's you, Mom. But can you just hook up with Sheikh Heikel and talk to him because you can be very funny as well.
Okay.
And it was my son and a few of my very close friends whom I've known for the past 20 years. And they said, oh, we're so happy that you're doing the podcast. Yes, it's not making money, you can't monetize it. It's something that, you spend a lot of time doing and you do not know where it's going, but does it matter? They feel that it's really capturing me right now at this point in my life. And I think when I was in radio, my true self came out when I was in Power 98 and had the lunchtime program because that was really about my personality. And then we played some really crazy games and Power was just very dynamic at that phase in those years that I was on. So I would have to say a lot of people said the true Suzanne came out that time when she was in Power and currently now in my podcast.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
One piece of encouragement you would give to anyone watching or listening now who's just left a demanding job and is trying to figure out what an own next hobby should be.
Yeah. What their next hobby should be.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what their next hobby should be. They just left a job. They're maybe like you. And maybe even like me at this stage in life.
I think the first thing is, which is, okay, now that you brought up Chris Ho, is what Chris Ho taught me. And he's actually a strong Buddhist. These are all Buddhist teaching. And it's not a religion, caveat. It's just a way of life.
Yeah.
It was like, what was the job to you, right? What was the job to you? And did you identify with that job, which is about attachment, right? And so the job had a place and it came during a season of your life when you needed it.
Right.
And you've made a decision now to leave. And so you're moving on to a different season in your life. Okay. So you had, your life was spent with that job. I hope you don't identify with the job. When you move on, you have to now look inward to find who you are. And that's what I've been doing. I've looked inward. I have removed what people have said about me because, yes, thank you. You have said some good things. People have said some bad things. Yes, I put them out there and it has its space. But I've looked inward to see what makes me happy at this point in my life. So the job is already out there. It's over, right? You have to let go of that and find out what you feel you never could fulfill in the past years that you've been busy doing all these other things for different people in that season of your life, and see whether you can explore what you always wanted to do in this season. Because this is about fulfilling what you could not fulfill. That's the first thing. Secondly is to find happiness. Okay, if you've managed to sort out your finances, and chances are if you do leave your job, you probably have some idea of where your finances are going. So you shouldn't be too fixated on that. you should accept your life as it is now. So if you have to maybe spend less, cut down, there's no shame in it. It's fine. What you need to do is find that happiness in that state that you're in right now. And I have found it. I don't need to go to a restaurant. I don't need to meet people for coffee in an expensive place. I can actually do Zoom calls with my friends, or I can meet people just at a park to talk about it, right? So during this period, I realized that I wanted to reconnect with women who I have always admired in my entire life, but never had a chance to go deep into what they did or how they managed to overcome it or why they became what they did or have. So in that quiet space, when I looked deep inside me, I realized, I want to speak with these women. I want to hear what they have to say. And that's kind of helped me move towards podcasting. And I hope all this makes sense to you, Chris, as I'm sharing that.
Yeah.
But if you feel lost, I also want to say I have felt lost as well as you navigate this change and transition. And please be kind to yourself, because no one else is going to be kind to you if you don't, if you don't choose to be kind to yourself. You cannot expect people to be kind to you. So when you're in this phase, right, just make sure you focus on you and put barriers on people who are going to put you down, right? At your age, I know you have already made very sensible decisions with your life, so you can't go that wrong. But now it's about protecting you and doing things that you always wanted to do and doing things that you know will make you happy. And focus on that, and you never know what will happen.
Thanks, man. I mean, I appreciate you saying all that. Which brings to mind a story I heard yesterday. I was with a friend. I hardly bump into him. Yeah. But when we do, we just talk for about a couple of minutes, And he give you some background, to end the show. He lost his wife a couple of years ago.
Oh.
He's got 2 daughters.
So sad.
Yeah, very sad, yeah. And he actually told me this. He's got a dog at home now too. And he said that when a person is about on the deathbed and they're going to go and you love that person so much, all you do on that remaining period of time was to give the best you can to that person that you love so much. And then he did. And then now he says his dog is also on his last throes of life, and he's giving his best to his dog. His 2 daughters, he raised well. He sends them to school. By the time the spouse passed away, took care of the daughters. One's a doctor today, and they live with him. One, I think, is married. I think. And this one that lives with him has just applied for her own accommodations. She wants to move out on her own and be independent. And he knows that, he told me this, to quote him, I know that time is coming and I don't know what to do. For me to just send her to work every day, it's not a chore. It still gives me something to do. And he's an educated guy, he's a professional. He's not that old, he's in his 60s, late 60s. And I go back home, I go to bed. After a while, you get used to that person you love is no longer on that bed with you. But you're going to be left alone. Once she moves out, that time is coming. I know that time is coming. What am I going to do? I said to him, you golf, don't you? Yeah, but there's only so much you can do in golfing. I go for 200. I go to the driving range and I go at it 200 times and I ache the next day. So it doesn't really help because I'm not getting younger either, right? And I'm retired, right? No one's gonna hire me, right? And he says, and I told him, don't you realize that all your life you've been doing nothing but care for others? He says, I realize that. I just don't know how to love me.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And this man, throughout all these years I've known him, has pride. He won't talk, but with me, he opened up, and it was just the 2 of us. And I said, you know, my friend, the first thing you need to do now to give yourself purpose is to love yourself. Until you find that, you wouldn't know what to do. Right? And I had to run for an appointment. And I was running late, and I really felt so bad that ke belakang pusing and go and leave him there. So I'm going to try and catch up with this guy. But you know, I hear you. These are, like this question I just asked you and the answer you gave is quite similar to what this guy is going through. You know, that there comes a time in life, I think, for a lot of people that what we're going to do, man. You know, you come to those crossroads, and that all of a sudden, family, kids left to roost, and hopefully families will go through that certain tragedies, and you're left alone. And the question, like even me, I'm asking myself now at this stage of life, what you gonna do, Chris? You know, yeah, because I'm getting older, and I know that, and I recognize that, and I have to acknowledge that, right? What you gonna do? And that's why I'm so happy doing this podcast.
And I also don't think it's about the podcast. It's the connection that you have,
yes,
like
correct.
what we've had
in
the past 2 hours. And this kind of gives some validation and meaning, and it gives you a different perspective, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I met so many people, so many stories, and some enjoyable stories, some hilarious ones. You know, it's been fantastic.
I just thought most of your podcast series are actually quite funny, like especially when you talk to the nightlife people, right? They always have all these stories to share.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, hilarious people I've got.
But you know, nightlife back in the 80s and 90s was something. Now it's like, it's boring. Boring.
Dead.
I mean, you know, I can just tell you, like, I lived through Walla Walla, you know.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I just want to share one story with you. If we can just, I can just share this. Oh my God. You know, a lot of people don't know, like, how funky Walla Walla was before it became like the
KP's place, yeah.
Yeah, it was like now it's so trendy. But at one point, a lot of people from the universities and people living around Holland Village would go to Walla Walla. Why? Because they had Whole Garden, and Whole Garden was dirt cheap.
Yes,
and they had like one for one.
Yeah.
And they had a very great manager who allowed you to call in your order if you're going to be late before the one for one ended.
Yes.
So I remember at Radio and Power 98, a few of them used to call ahead and say, we're coming over. I said, okay, we want like blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, we'll save your one for one. So they'll show up after 9. And then we'll have one for one that will go on for the whole night because we pre-booked. Yeah. And a lot of people would hang out there in slippers, and it was just a funky. I used to cycle there and chuck my bicycle in the
neighborhood.
corner. Yeah. And if there was only one payphone, it was the orange payphone where you put in 10 cents, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was one program director, I can't remember the name, texted 999 on my pager, you know. And no one, I didn't see it until 1. That was how crazy we were. And they're closed up, and they would close up the Walla Walla, and we could still continue the party then. I do not know if that was any breach in regulations, but anyways, it was like a long time ago. And I would say, oh my goodness, do I need to call now? And what Walla Walla would do was they will open up the door, pull out the payphone, plug it in for me so I could use the payphone. It was crazy. So, I mean, I hope you'll have someone come in and talk about Walla Walla for you.
Well, KP did, you know, and now that you jogged my memory too, Walla Walla was very famous with their one for one Whole Garden.
Yeah, it was very famous. And Johnny Walker, who brought in Whole Garden, everyone thought I was his ex-wife or something, used to hang out there. Unfortunately, he's passed away. You know.
Number 5.
Yeah, it was like Whole Garden. And there was also some waiters who were like so rude. I remember my sister from the US came down, and she asked one of the waiters, oh, what's your red wine? Because she's from the US, right? It could have been a Merlot or Chablis or something. And he said, it's red. And she said, what's your red wine? I said, it's red. I said, what's your red? I said, I told my sister Lena, I think he just knows it's red. And he said, yes, it's red. That was Walla Walla, you know, and my sister till today can tell me that story.
Yeah, and famously Jive Talking started there.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah.
Well, I had KP on the show, and we were talking about Walla Walla, but I forgot all about the the whole garden fan.
Yeah, it was the whole garden,
That's what they were really famous for.
Everyone was drinking the whole garden. It was cheap. It was easy.
And it was just this big pint.
And it was like in the neighborhood, you just show up in your slippers. I'll chuck my bicycle on the side. And then like later on at 2:00, after everyone decides it's time to go, I think the bar had closed hours ago, I would just take my bicycle. I couldn't bicycle home anymore. I would just push my bike home. It was really great. I mean, and no one remembers those times.
Yeah. Well, those days are over. I hope they will revive again. You know, I've been working so hard, trying so hard, doing whatever I can in my own small little way to hopefully get people to be aware that, hey, you guys are killing nightlife. And we've lost music in this country's DNA, man. We've lost it. It's a phenomenon. If you were to take a look at the last couple of years on the American Top 40, look at the charts. You hardly see a band.
What's that right?
If you see any groups like K-pop and whatever, you don't see bands. You see solo artists all the time.
Okay, so maybe groups are out of fashion now?
Bands seem to be out of fashion, which is scary. You know, I mean, I just feel so sad. When you have big sound, most of these young people have never experienced like even a 5 or 6 piece. You know? Yeah, in those days, remember we used to see bands like that. We go gaga over these sort of, the sound's so big, right? And it's so much more fun. Well, anyways, we digress. Okay, thanks again, Suzanne, for spending time being so honest and open and absolutely frank.
Yeah, you know, I've never been very ambitious, so I don't have that veneer of like professionalism, particularly when I have a mic in front of me and we're talking. I mean, it just goes back to my old days in radio, but I think the only way forward is to be authentic, and that is also a Chris Ho advice.
Well, I don't know if you see what we write in our show. The most authentic conversation you can find in Singapore.
Yeah, I don't want to offend people, and I hope we didn't. I think we were just being real.
No, honestly, I don't care whether we have or not. I really don't. Well, anyway, thanks again, really. It's wonderful to have you in the studio. It's great conversation, really. I hope you had fun too.
I did. Thank you so much.
No, not at all. My pleasure. Pleasure's all mine. Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode. That was Suzanne Walker, and I tell you, it was so good to hear her voice, especially in my can. And one day, who knows? I might just do a love songs.
Go for it. I don't see why you should.
Man.
Do a sex show, you know.
What? Really?
Take calls. There's a show in Hong Kong where it's like a podcast where they actually take calls. And people call in to talk about their marital problems, their sex problems.
I will be arrested. This is Singapore. But well, it's a thought.
It's not on broadcast, so I do not know whether there are regulations against it if it's on a podcast.
That's the thing, you know. I sometimes there are just some areas I fear to tread.
I understand.
As much as daring as I can be.
You don't want to get a POFMA letter, right?
Man,
how does it
absolutely.
work?
So I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Everybody, thank you very much for watching this episode with Suzanne Walker. Just so you know, Suzanne, the title of this episode today is That One from Radio's Love Goddess to Podcaster.
Oh.
That's your episode title. And thank you for watching, everybody. Come back again, same time, same place, same channel next week. Until then, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye. The Chris Hansen Conversation. Real talk, no filters. And a growing community of more than 90,000 subscribers across ASEAN, right here from Singapore.